I'm Travis with Fool and Scholar Productions. How are you today, lovely friends? We are gonna listen to something fun. We've got an episode of a show called Dark Dice that we have the first and hopefully final mix to review. It's probably gonna take a couple of changes, and that's all right. But what goes into a mix when you're listening? Because I don't do mixing, I don't do mastering, right? So I'm just the guy who listens to it. I'm the happy customer at the end of the thing that makes sure that all the things are as happy as can be and understandable as clams, and all the stuff that I put in the work that Caitlin and I worked on is audible, is understandable, is clear, is in line with our transcripts, which I should be pulling up right now but have not just yet, to make sure that it's in line with those. But we want all these things to sync up as we before we share it with you, which we're excited to do. But you, my dear friends who are here, hello. Ooh, a promotional thing from a bot. You've been banned. Haha, banhammer. That was quick. I love the new features. Anyway, so my goal is to make a fun episode that you all can enjoy, and we're at the final part of it. I spent the weekend working on this and other stories, and I've already listened to like a mixed review of The Boar Knight this morning, and I've already listened to some other stuff this morning. So it is a day of stuff, and it's funny. One thing you should always keep in mind if you are working in mixes and mastering and that sort of stuff is if you work in stereo, don't mix it in mono. It will ruin everything. And even if you don't think you're working in stereo, still mix it in stereo. Don't mix it in mono. It will ruin everything. Even like if you download music off the internet or you have a song that you put in there, like for the intro theme, it will sound 10 times worse. So just be aware of those little things. But how are you again? If you feel like chatting, feel free to drop some notes, some wisdom, some kind encouragement in your lovely chat, and I will reply to it. I should probably also get a drink before we get started because hydration is very important. I do have my transcripts up, and I've got some fun secrets in this mix too. I think it all did what it was supposed to do. Yep, it did. It looks like it... oh no, it didn't. It stopped at the end. That's okay. We'll swap that out later. Sheesh. Hey, Dead Toothbrush. My buddy, how are you? I'm excited for as we get a little closer. They're gonna tell us we've been accepted to the thing, the Comic-Con. We'll be going to the London Comic-Con. They've given us panels. They haven't told us which ones, so we'll find out soon, and also what booths we'll have. But I'm gonna grab a drink and then we'll start listening to this lovely 40-minute episode, which will take me through most of my day, and we're gonna have to listen at 1-to-1 speed because I don't want to speed things up. I'm so excited for it too. And do you seek it? Yeah, I do. And when you listen to this, also, I did a bunch of Foley stuff that wasn't recorded on video. It's me playing with this chain basically every time Father Westpike moves, and brushing my shirt every time anyone else moves. It shouldn't be too terribly loud. And we've got an intro, and we've got an advertisement, and a bunch of things to just make sure it sounds all good. So this is basically like a listening party. You're just going to hear me complain about things and stop and say, I must make notes. And then I'll make those notes as we go through. But real quick, cup of water. So, previously, on our episode of Dark Dice, when we were listening to me edit stuff, some stuff changed, and this is all big stuff, right? So I don't handle volume because I'm a little deaf in one of my ears. Not like super deaf, but it's enough, right? You don't want somebody who can't hear certain frequencies doing your mixing. At least I don't, because I want you all to appreciate everything instead of hearing half of the battle. And I'm also not an engineer, so I don't know how to really do all those technical things that work so well in mixing, which is frequency based. It has to do with the clashing of frequencies, the different high, mids, lows, these things we think about. And as I just sort of get things ready and into space, it's gonna be fun. Also, I should probably, while we're listening to it, I'm going to make a post real quick while, again, all this is happening and while we're listening. I'll be just fixing this. So I'll be making an Acast post because we put our episodes to Patreon through Acast, and I use that as a reference for when I do credits, right? So I open up the previous one, look at the credits, and I'm updating that at the same time as I'm listening to the episode, as I'm thinking of content warnings. So there are a lot of things that I could, can, and will be doing. I'm just going to upload a bogus audio file here real quick. That's not something. Here's some sheep. There. Sounds of sheep, because I don't want it to be a huge file. And then I'm going to pop in the name, which we did come up with a name for this episode, for episode 3A. We've got one. The episode of this is going to be Questionable Associates. It is episode 4A. So I update the number and update the name, Questionable Associates. And it's season 13, episode 13. And I'll copy and paste the credits. And then while we're doing stuff, I'll make notes and edit these descriptors. The team continues on their journey north. We need to come up with an episode description. So as we're also listening to it, let's think of what we could do there, because we do want an episode description. And while that's happening, let's hit play. Oh, and I also need to be able to hear it in my headphones. That would be helpful. So let's switch that up to here, and hopefully you can hear it too. Greetings, adventurers. Much better. As you're aware, Dark Dice is a passion project, a hobby that we really enjoy working on, and it's... What's that popping noise? What is that? Working on, and it's... What is that? Let's fix the packet depth. Buffer size, pretty big. Heck, we'll make it even bigger. My sample rate seems to be strange. 441, good. Number of... all right. Oh, I know what's wrong. I also have a separate version of my DAW open because I'm editing an episode while I'm mixing an episode. I shouldn't be doing that because it'll create all the popping noises. So let's try it again. Greetings, adventurers. Much better when you don't have multiple episodes open at once. As you're aware, Dark Dice is a passion project, a hobby that we really enjoy working on, and its popularity is pushing it closer and closer toward a career. We pay our actors, our cast, our mixing engineer, our transcriptionists, and our musicians, and it's to the point where we're almost able to start paying me for the work I do on the show as well, which is frankly unbelievable. Last month marked our 5-year anniversary since we started recording, and I'll say it again that we had no idea just how far this adventure would take us. We really appreciate all of you sharing our show with your friends and internet acquaintances, and it's made a really big difference in all of our lives personally. Those who support our Patreon have literally put food on the table for some of our actors and helped our cast and crew through very difficult times. A link to our Patreon is ever in our show notes, along with a free link to transcripts, soundtracks, and an ever-growing horde of free content that we are proud to offer you like tribute to the grandest of dragons. So, on behalf of all of us, thank you for listening, thank you for sharing, and thank you for your support. Housekeeping updates. In November 2023, that's this year, we are going to be doing a bonus round at D&D in a Castle, which is now available and expected to sell out within the month. So, if you have any interest in rolling the Dark Dice with Caitlin and myself as co-DMs in person for roughly 24 hours of gaming in an actual dungeon, this is likely your last opportunity to do so for the foreseeable future. We here at Dark Dice are also taking the month of April off from our show, as all of us are going to be in Iceland for a very important event, a wedding. You may not be aware of this, but the voices of Father Westpike and Rowena met while playing Dark Dice in Season 1, became really good friends, partnered on the Lucky Die podcast, started dating, and a few years later are getting married in real life in just under 2 months. So we'll all be there and thusly unable to release an episode. However, while you wait, you've got a few options. First, we'll remind you that our first role-playing podcast, Liberty Vigilance, is still available in its amazing... I forgot the song was on here and I love it. Amazing 16-episode glory, featuring the voices of Ashley Birch, Space Ghost, Peter Joseph Lewis, Caitlin Statz, and most of the Dark Dice cast. However, I'd also like to introduce you to another great show today. What's that? Introduce you to another great show today, a fantastic D&D 5e actual play podcast that Gizmodo called Polished Exemplary Actual Play that everyone is going to be talking about soon. That's right, Reckless Attack. If you like mystery, if you like horror, if you like monsters and stories about heroes trying to rebuild from the mistakes of their past, Reckless Attack is for you. Most importantly, it's a tale filled with stacks of frogs and with new episodes releasing every Tuesday that are very well edited. But let's let our friends speak for themselves.
A story of monsters, mystery, and myth, and the 4 adventurers who have banded together as heroes and as friends.
and then he hears Val's voice from above, and then he basically feels better.
Yeah. Who come together to make the world a little safer for their fellow mortals. Large creatures.
And I'm not skipping through this because
Hody in danger.
Well, I guess
if I do
it's your
skip through
time.
this, like you'll have there's a chance that something could happen. There could be like a glitch in the system, a glitch in the mix, and if I don't hear it, you will. And then like, you know, maybe there's a bird screech here, right? Or a glitching sound of a cell phone, but I won't know if I don't listen to every second of it.
Legends and rediscovery. And stacks of frogs.
Stacks of
Checkers
frogs.
is building his own Ewok village.
Check us out at recklessattack.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Shayless Pace.
Every little bit.
Sally's.
All of them.
Do you seek him?
Do
Okay.
you seek
Intro sounding good.
Do
Yep.
you seek him?
Yep.
Do you seek?
I'm gonna ask for that one to be lowered. That one might be a little too loud. I think that was David.
Do you seek? Then
Normally I like this one being quieter. That's me. Where is that? It's David. David Alt. That one. Okay. So note number 1 at 3:40 to 3:43. We're gonna just mark the timestamp real quick and send a message off to our dear friend Marissa Ewing, who is of Hemlock Creek Productions, who's the mixing engineer on this project. Notes. NPC. What was it? 240. Sorry, 340 to 343. Let's do that right. 340 to 343. Lower NPC by, let's say 5 dB. Boom. We'll continue our listen.
do you seek the nameless god?
You have found yourself among those who roll the dark dice. What you are about
And that's because I spent Saturday trying to reduce the number of tracks that I had. So I put a lot of things together and combined them. So instead of having 30 different tracks for just the intro, it's now like closer to 7.
to hear happened long ago. A story brought back from the edge of oblivion, dutifully transcribed and enhanced orally to better captivate your attention. Previously, Rowena and her cousin Sindri departed Ilmater's Hope after an unfortunate incident. Having
Bells
stolen
died.
4 horses,
My bell died.
Sindri departed Ilmater's Hope after an unfortunate...
Okay, so 3-02, 4-02, let me make a note of that. 402, the bell suddenly dies. It needs reverb there. Sorry, I know what I did wrong. Apology emoji. Yeah, gotta be listening to
After
these
an
things.
unfortunate incident.
That's exactly what happened.
Having stolen 4 horses, they continued on their way toward Westman's Hold to reunite with the West Pike family.
Oops. All right, let's get to the actual episode.
Dark Dice, The Long Road. Chapter 4A, Questionable Associates.
We've got the name of the episode. That's good. Let's. That music has been credited and attributed. Campfire's not in this one. Ilmater's Hope Winter is not in this one. So let's take them out of the credits.
As the radiant sun gently began to dip behind the distant trees, and as the duo reached the crest of a hill, they noticed a wooden structure about 20 minutes ride ahead. The building, presumably an inn, appeared to be equipped with stables and was located next to a large river that the highway would ultimately pass beyond by means of bridge. Sindri and Rowena remembered this riverside inn as being about halfway between the city of Auden and Ilmater's Hope. A small dirt path gently departed from the main road just before the river's edge, following it eastward through a halfling settlement Sindri had once visited.
Father Westpike slows down his horse and looks to Rowena. An inn does not sound bad, does it?
Yeah, I mean, I can always try and sink the room and board. It normally works.
I have some coin which we can use.
We're better off using that for things like getting you some rations and whatnot. So
Getting us rations.
yeah, that's what I meant.
We will have some soup and bread here.
These guys are adorable.
Rowena paused for a moment, crossing another pound of weight off her character sheet, and continued toward the inn. 20 minutes later, they were before the Riverside Inn, which was equal parts charming and clean. A wide covered wagon was parked nearby, guarded by an armed and armored human with a spear, metal chestplate, and matching helmet. The wide wooden door to the inn looked inviting, made more so by the glow of the fireplace, and muted sounds of conversation through the windows.
Do we hear the sounds of another bard?
Notably, the sound of music was absent, indicating the lack of a rival bard.
Yes!
And it was yet near dinner time. A young halfling...
This is me also trying to avoid having them play music. You'll see in a moment.
Actually, we can say that now. Stoutkin or halfling. Let's go with Stoutkin still. Stoutkin boy with red hair and freckles, perhaps 15 years in age, saw the teams approach and moved to greet them. A sudden enthusiasm hardly contained for no reason that was readily apparent to the cousins or their horses.
Hello, 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 hello.
Indeed.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the Riverside Inn. I'm Squabbin, and I'm here to make your stay as easy as possible. Who are you guys? Are you mighty adventurers? You are staying the night, right?
Squabbin.
And this is me also like looking at the transcript and trying to update it too. So if you see me like typing furiously, that's what I'm doing. All this typing you're hearing.
That's a fantastic name.
Yes.
Thanks.
We intend to stay here for the night. You have staples, yes?
Of course. Right over here with the green roof.
For instance, the transcript said you had staples. Yes. No, it should be with a B instead of a P. Stables.
I can help put your horses away for you. If you'd like, I can do that.
The boy was clearly excited at the prospect of guiding such large horses.
You can help us. And Father Westpike hands him the leash to the second horse.
Thanks. Okay. Now for 4 horses, that would be 10 copper for all of your horses for 1 night. Is that okay? We'll feed them, and I will personally brush each and every one of them. They will be happy horses by the time you wake up, and happy horses make for happy travel.
I'd like to offer, to yourself and other members of your fine establishment that I'm a travelling bard.
Oh, really?
So, perhaps I can trade at least some of my services with your kind permission, you know.
That would be really amazing. I, for one, would love to hear your music. But there's a problem, my lady. Freyna, the owner of this fine institution, the wonderful Riverside Inn, would normally accept your fine offer, except she has a young baby, and for the next few months there's no music after dark. Or during the day, most times.
Oh.
It's a very strict policy.
That's fairly interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You look like you're really probably talented, though. Better than the regulars who stop here. If that dinged up shield is any indication, I bet you've seen quite a few adventures. Do you have stories you can tell without singing? Are you actual adventurers?
We are absolutely adventurous, and I'd love to tell you some tales. But that will have to wait for another day. Like tomorrow, perhaps.
Oh, okay. Wait, tomorrow? Yeah, that means you can tell me because I have some extra time tomorrow because it's my birthday in a few days. You guys should totally stick around. There's going to be a celebration and a shipment of elven wine from Hale, and I'm going to be allowed to drink a whole glass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on reaching, another year without dying, so good luck on that. Good
Thanks.
luck. We'll make sure that we'll pay our tab as we're supposed to. Thank you very much, lad.
Okay, but the horses have to be boarded, though, and that's 10 copper.
Yeah. Straight up right now.
Yep, I'll take care of that, and then...
Is this kid hassling us?
Insight.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Apparently, I love children's...
Okay, and I need to get an updated from Aethor because I got his yes, which wasn't in the transcript. It was good. Yes. Excitedly. This is sounding really good so far. I hear no mixing issues. So all the voices are about the same volume. You can hear the backgrounds. Yeah, I can hear everything. Erl, tough name. Erlitich. Super cool name. And this is, it's just okay, well, this is all coming together. This is all the pieces. You can see them on my timeline muted because I'm just listening to the one track directly above everything else. It's all in the same timeline. And all my little scratches and bumps and chain movements are all audible.
So it's a 6.
No, Rowena felt confident that this strapping young, almost a man, was simply entrepreneurial and trying to make a copper where copper could be found.
Yeah, we get off and give the young squabbin the horses.
I hand the young lad like 10 copper pieces. Here you are, lad.
Thank you. I didn't even have to do change.
Coins vanished inside a coin purse at the boy's belt. A newly crafted coin purse he undoubtedly received as a gift recently.
Do you know if they're offering food tonight?
Of course. Freyna started a fresh stew an hour or so ago.
I look green.
It's okay. I don't like meat either. It'll be ready in about half an hour or so. Gil asked if she could have some, but Freyna said it needed more time to soak up the flavor or something.
Oh, a fresh one. We are in luck, Rowena.
You may have noticed she's gone green.
Oh, yes, do you have...
And if you hear that, like, little between the voices, there's sound, right? There's lots of sound. There's that movement, which is basically me brushing my arm. So that's what you're hearing there. The actors were actually quite still and quiet. So I'm artificially making the scene a bit more energetic, even though there's a lot of dead space within the scene, which is mixed very low because it shouldn't overpower anything. It should be very, very quiet, which is where we like it. Super, super, super quiet.
Have any...
Also, if you hear any content warnings like eating disorders, things like that, I'm trying to also fill those in while I'm going through. So every time I hear a song, I have to mark the song and the credits. Every time I hear a content warning potential thing, I don't think there's any that have happened since, but there will be others. I'm marking those too, and I'm just kind of like going through.
Side food? Bread and such.
Yeah, of course. We've got cooked blue potatoes, jerky, and bread, and other things as well. Drinks, tea, ale, wine. We were voted the second best tavern south of Auden.
Let us go in. I need to sit down. My back is killing me.
Of course. I'll take care of your horses. Enjoy your stay.
The boy ran to open the door for Father Westpike, and quickly ran back to the horses, realizing he'd let go of them, and after a few seconds of struggle, was able to collect the reins for all 4 horses, and ushered them away toward the direction of the stables.
Is he actually taking the horses to the stables?
He was. Rowena also noticed a small, soft...
So, like, the footsteps here are pretty soft, but they're there. I don't want to, like, make them louder, because they're a decent volume. They are there somewhere. Right? Did I delete them? No, I have footsteps. I just can't see-
soft-cover book,
for some reason,
more
I can't see
accurately a
them.
collection of saddle-stitched pages that would hardly classify as a book, but they were probably quite difficult to acquire nonetheless.
Can I see what it says?
Rowena could try if she really cared.
There they are.
I do care.
I'm a walking tracks.
I'm a bard.
She's
It's a
gonna
book.
steal
I
it.
care. How dare you? 13.
Volo's Guide to Minding Your Own Business.
Oh,
Marketing your own
that's-
business. Sorry, the small letters are hard to read.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Inside the inn, it was clear that significant effort had gone into making its main 2-story room, which housed numerous booths, clean, bright, and tidy, and a small...
The footsteps are a little quiet there.
It was clear that significant effort had gone into making its main 2-story room, which housed numerous booths, clean, bright, and
I
tidy.
might ask for this
And a
to go
small
up.
stage was situated along the back wall, but it was roped off with a sign that
I
read,
think it will.
"No music after dark," in common. A dark-haired woman with a cane, clearly the proprietor, was sweeping in frustration while 2 humans and an orc merrily chatted and ate at the nearest booth. Other patrons included a group of 4 human adventurers loudly fussing over a grand scheme with a small figure over a map. And a final group of 3 humans in immaculate armor sat at another one of the booths. It took a moment, but Rowena's keen perception also spotted a lone drunk passed out under one of the far booths. This was a large tavern. with
Quarter of the way
warmth,
through the
chatter,
episode,
and burning wood within
making
its
it happen.
hearth.
Father Westpike's gonna approach the barman.
The duo approached the tan-skinned woman, a human who appeared to be considering if a particularly high spiderweb would be worth the effort, and ultimately deciding it was not over the course of the conversation.
Hello.
Hello, I am looking for food and board for 2 dwarfs.
Food and board for 2 dwarfs? Yes, we have a few rooms available. Would it be a single room or 2 rooms?
Whichever is cheaper. We are on a budget.
1.
I don't know how it is where you come from, but on the surface, 1 room is almost always cheaper. Will 1 bed do, or do you need a double?
Prefer 2 sleeping quarters. Sleeping spaces.
Okay, that will be 15 copper for the night, which includes the stew over there.
I understood you had bread and potatoes?
That comes with a stew.
I am quite tired of stew. It is a tiresome food. I wish to fill myself with something a little bit more wholesome.
She shoots you the most like relieved look at the world.
Father Westpike's not completely oblivious. I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
Yes, he is.
So, bread and potatoes for 2 dwarfs, please. I'll throw in another copper.
Picky eaters, eh? I'll start on the potatoes then.
Hey, Frena, can you get us another round? We need more drinks over here.
I'll be with you in a moment.
Do you need some help?
No, I can handle my job, thank you.
Didn't you just have a little one?
Yes, I did. Then he grew up. And that's why I have a second one. One to watch the other when I'm busy.
Ah, smart. But you sure you don't want a hand to make things a bit easier for the night?
She looked at Rowena appraisingly as poor rolls were made.
No, I can handle myself, thank you.
Freyna approached the human in armor, eventually moving to grab more beers for them while the eyes of the chuckling group nearby landed on the dwarves.
Greetings, I'm going to pause it for a second because there's a credit issue over here. The drunk storyteller should actually just be human 1 because we've changed the actors sort of on the fly here. So add cast, human 1, Travis Vengroff. I get to be credited as a person, but I also need to add Freyna, and I also need to add Squabin. I'm doing an order of appearance. Squabin, and then we also have Rafaj, and Gil, and the Brommel, and also Drunk Storyteller. All these actors we're going to have to fill in as they start appearing. So I'm doing like credits while listening and all the different pieces. So as anything pops up.
Travelers, care to join us? We're having too much fun tonight to keep it to ourselves.
A tan-skinned human with patterned tattoos beneath and on the...
Yeah, I didn't hear walk away.
The human in armor, eventually moving to grab more beers for them while the eyes of the chuckling group nearby landed on the dwarves.
Footsteps.
Greetings, travelers. Care to join us? We're having too much fun tonight to keep it to ourselves.
A tan-skinned human with patterned tattoos beneath and on the sides of his eyes, which were encircled by thin eyeliner, winked at Father Westpike. Extravagantly flowing sleeves, which ended at the elbows, waved in line with his energetic hand motions over a series of bandoliers, which held a pair of whips, a curved dagger, and a rabdos, a mace-like wand commonly used by wizards.
Father Westpike smiles and says, I may be good at drinking, but I am no good at telling stories. I don't think I am the companionship you're looking for. But my cousin, however...
Hey! Then come.
She knows the good ones.
Come drink with us. I can buy the first round. And perhaps a second if the stories are any good.
Father Westpike smiles at Rowena.
She looks a little concerned, and then she just shrugs her shoulders like, why not? Sure.
The human sat with 2 others. First was a smiling orc covered in the professional garb of a surface merchant guild, clearly enjoying a swig from his deep amber pint. A bronze mace was at his side, as was a strange weapon Rowena recognized as a collapsible spear, and noted its various interchangeable heads on a custom belt over one of his shoulder pads. The third and final figure of this group was a smiling half-elf woman with a uniquely distracting hairstyle which very intentionally pulled attention away from her more elven features, lending to the cousin's original impression that she was human. A guild tattoo on her neck contrasted her pale skin, and though she had facial piercings which gave a sternness to her kind expression, her clothing indicated to Rowena that she was a guild scribe. Armed with a short sword and a series of tubes that undoubtedly contained scrolls, her occupation was confirmed by the bright red quill which undoubtedly possessed some form of magic.
So, what occasion precedes such merriment?
Oh, dear friends, we have a wonderful trade happening quite soon. We have procured rare and unusual goods that the Tyrell elves will pay more than a fair price for. I have it on my very good account that one family most noble is looking for something unique I have in my possession. That is a reason for us to smile, yes?
Indeed.
Can I insight him? When he says thing, does he mean person? Like, the Turo elves are fairly evil, if I remember, so after the blood sacrifice portals I've seen, been part of recently, Rowena's admittedly a skeptic that they're up to anything good.
With her roll of a 24, Rowena was sure that it was a person, but that it was definitely not her. She felt that these could be bounty hunters, but she had a difficult time placing the human's occupation, as he was dressed in the clothing not of the human realms of Leonhardt, but of the garb of the Azure Kingdom far to the east.
So what sort of thing have you got? If you don't mind my asking.
I can show you if you like. I trade in the most exotic of rare wares and only the finest.
Just gonna point out, I'm very proud of that like mug slam. I've been doing those little things to kind of like put people in the scene, in the space, and it really, you could feel it. And I'm not being super chatty because I'm also listening a lot, and it's kind of fun to hear the episode. But yeah, I like that mug slam. Ha ha ha.
Finest of these. But let me finish my drink first, yeah? We have quite the collection, and maybe I'll even part with something so long as you have the coin. I don't quite know how to say this, but you carry yourself like one from the Dwarven guilds, and I always make time for the guilds.
No, I'm not interested in buying, but I've got a pretty wide range of knowledge of these like rare and exotic goods, especially magical types.
So you're like an appraiser?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. That's one of my hobbies.
The transcripts are super off here.
You're
Let's try that
too
again.
humble.
I've got a pretty wide range of knowledge of these like rare and exotic goods, especially magical types.
So you're like an appraiser?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. That's one of my hobbies.
Bah, you are too humble. So you must be quite good. Who are you, appraiser? What was your name? My name, as you'll want to know, of course, who I am. I am Rafash the Smiling of the Far Eye Guild. This is Gil, and he's the Brummel.
And you've got a very pretty smile there, I have to say. I can see why you're always known as a smiler.
The Smiling.
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry.
A smiler is like an insult, I think, right? Some kind of pervert thing.
You could take it as that. It could also just mean that he's...
You like to smile?
Well, I must be thinking of something else, perhaps. I don't speak this language at home, and it makes difficulty for me sometimes.
Oh, I do apologise, you know, different cultures and whatnot. It's always good to learn these sort of things. Don't take anything I said any sort of intended insult.
Oh, no. And I like dwarves. We just started actually with some dwarves most recently, and I know a few words in dwarvish.
Oh, eh?
Aye.
Things go profitably?
That is how it go. Tell you what, I can show you the wares, and you can tell me what you feel they're worth. Aye?
Yeah, that'll be great.
Father Westpike is holding his mug and walking with it now if we're walking anywhere.
Rafaj the Smiling passed Rowena a fresh mug on her way out the door, assuming she would accept it.
I will take it. I will take a sip.
The drink had one blessing, and it did not taste of putrid rot. Instead, it tasted of ash and ammonia.
Oh. Yeah, but she won't drink a lot. She'll just do that. Yeah, I've tried it. I'm not trying much more of that. She's gonna probably be doing that sort of thing.
All right, my friends. Right this way.
The duo, now armed with pints, was led outside to a covered wagon where, with a twirl of his Rabdos, the cover magically rose and extended, creating a covered viewing area for the assorted goods within. The human guard, who was not expecting Rafaj's magic, was briefly startled, then proceeded to fake his surprise into a wide stretch.
Each of these has extremely valued properties and is a true rarity. Look upon my collection in wonder and tell me what you think they're worth.
Rafaj spoke with a grandiose wave as the trailing cloth, roughly eye level for the dwarves, waved by to reveal a series of metal cages, each housing a different living creature. The colors almost implied a circus of curios, but the creatures within.
First is a rare cycloptic bright-coated gaze lemur of the Underkingdom. Is it a horrible abomination of the deep elves or giants? Or perhaps curious mutation from living in close proximity to their foul magics? None can be sure. But surely such a rare find is of interest to an esteemed collector, or a dwarven child who you forgot to buy a gift for. Its former master, an evil, foul, devouring princess trained to a variety of every commands, including sitting, stay, eat, and my favorite, dance. Dance!
The small, brightly striped creature in the immaculate cage began a sad jig, rubbing its small shackles over hairless patches of skin.
I'm sorry, as soon as he says this word, he Cinder's face kind of drops. My wife is not a fan of small creatures. They unsettle her.
Oh, it is my fault. I did not mean to unsettle you. Let me show you something else. Okay, here. Wingless but feathered. I have with me for a brief time that which the elven prince so rightly desires. An evil beast, a chimera, capable of creating any sound imaginable with perfect accuracy.
The cage which Rafaj motioned to housed a stoutkin-sized, gaunt humanoid with a bird-like head and talons, feathered, and with weary brown eyes that glared at the human with an unexpected hatred, as the voice of Rafaj was produced from its mouth.
Greetings, I am an feather beauty, capable of creating any sound imaginable with perfect accuracies. I said accuracy.
Rafaj placed a threatening hand over the Rabdos, and the creature fearfully replied,
Capable of creating any sound imaginable with perfect accuracy.
It took little effort for the cousins to see through Rafaj's smile and find the measure of the man beneath.
So I've added like content warning, animal abuse, parentheses like circus. I think that's probably a fair way to describe this stuff that's just happened, and slavery. I think these are fair content warnings that might be upsetting to people.
So, what do you think it's worth?
Well, let me see what else you got. Sometimes things are worth a lot more when you have a set, you know.
Ah, true. Well, there is only one thing more, and I doubt you'll be able to outbid my employer for it. But I would love to know what you feel it's worth.
I don't.
We'd love to see it.
Yes, yes. Yes, while I haven't saved the best for last per se, I have a beauty here. One of the most beautiful creatures your eyes will ever gaze over, but as a wild force of nature and the Under Kingdom, she's most certainly evil. A rare specimen on the surface of an actual devil, Delvin, a deep elf from a foul city far beneath our feet, captured only just a month past by a brave dwarven warriors, and traded to me with incredibly expensive cages as you see before you. As such monster must be kept within magical containment, or else it could place a curse upon us. We have already received an offer from House Casafix, who apparently intend to experiment upon her with a novel goal of one day bringing light back to the Darklands. Something to do with trisection or dissection or quadsection?
With a messy hair of copper color and bruised blotchy skin, the Delvin woman behind Rafaj was gaunt,
music.
and exhausted from having undergone some
music. I have to credit
recent
this.
form of torture. The lateral lines, that is to say the rows of extrasensory pores that ran along her sides, allowing her to see in the dark, so to speak, almost resembled freckles, and her ears somehow felt more bat-like than
These
the other
credits are
types of
complicated.
elves. A small pattern of bioluminescence was present along her arms, chest, and face, lending to the impression of a subterranean flare. But there was no malice behind her amber eyes, no fangs
I can hear the
along
voice
her blank
over
expression.
the music, which is good.
Humans and dwarves alike had made up demons where there were none.
Ooh, I kind of want to boost the volume here.
But there was no malice behind her amber eyes, no fangs along her blank expression.
So 24:38 is the timestamp that I want to boost the volume of the music just a bit, like slightly mild. 24:38. Boost the music here until 24:54 by maybe like 3 decibels to 5 decibels. That'll make a difference.
Things along her blank expression. Humans and dwarves alike had made up demons where there were none. But whatever cruelty deep elves were unlikely deservingly renowned for, far worse injustice had been imposed upon this woman, whose mind clearly drifted to thoughts far away from the dwarves, the wagon, or the riverside inn.
So, what do you think? Care to make a friendly appraisal in exchange for some drinks?
So, let me get this straight. There's a cycloptic lemur, there's a feathered chimera, and there's a deep elf. Perhaps we should go in and drink on it. I mean, being a bard and all, I can tell this is true. No story has ever started out with, we were sober at a pub.
This is true, but we're all 2 or 3 drinks in.
But I'm not. See, I've only had like a sip of this before you brought me out here to view your wares. It's hardly fair. We've got to catch up.
With another wave of his Rabdos, the canvas once again moved to cover the wagon's wares. And the guard was caught off guard a second time. A few paces later, the trio returned to their seats with the
Those
warmth
footsteps
of the
are
bar.
also kind of soft.
So, my friend.
So, like, are these loud enough?
With another wave of his Rabdos, the canvas once again moved to cover the wagon's wear.
I kind of want to boost this one too by a few decibels. So overall, I'll just make that note. Like overall, boost this track, the footsteps. Oh my, I hit the wrong button. By 2 to 3 dB. As I call someone on accident, because my keyboard is very silly. It is a German keyboard. It sounded okay to you, okay. Let me try it one more time. Let me just listen without that. So without that.
With another wave of his Rabdos, the canvas once again moved to cover the wagon's wear.
Then slightly louder.
Wave of his Rabdos, the canvas once again moved to cover the...
Yeah, I want them like 2 or 3 decibels. Not like a huge difference, but just so they're a bit more audible, so if I'm not wearing my headset, I can still hear them.
Moved to cover the wagon's wares. And the guard was caught off guard a second time. A few paces later, the trio returned to their seats within the warmth of the bar.
So, my friends, that's what I've been up to. Now, how about you? I see that you're a noble from your little shirt thing.
Ravage motioned to the Cordellum emblem, clearly visible on Rowena's chest plate.
Yeah, as I said, might be a professional appraiser for a certain guild.
Well then, what do you think they're worth?
What I think they're worth?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, it looked like she's a bit cracked and broken, so I don't think she's worth very much. And
she's think of her as not as a living thing, but as a resource for tests. She's clearly Delvin, clearly sinister, clearly evil. Now, what if you had a living one to experiment on? There's various light weapons, magics. That's pretty useful for your clan. Now you have an advantage over the Delvins in a fight.
It's a pretty interesting prospect, I have to say.
That is the value prospect that I intend to say to House Casafix.
I'm sorry, Father Westpike spent a bunch of time in the crack. Do I know other light-sensitive creatures? Something I know that would stay away from where the light would shine down the crack?
Light sensitivity is known to be common among Delvin orcs, some giants, dwarves, and even humans who spend enough time below ground, and among certain monsters. Some creatures even lose their powers under the light of the glorious morning lord. Perhaps not quite to the same level as vampires, but Father Westpike had only heard rumors or legends at best, and lacked first-hand experience with these matters. He also currently believed that wolves were among the light-sensitive, after misunderstanding a story about a farmer who scared away a wolf with a torch.
As I said, she's a little bit cracked and broken. I mean, you want someone who's natural, so to speak, because you don't exactly know how terribly you've broken her, because you could have broken to her to the point where she doesn't act like she would normally. You know, maybe she's coming around to this whole light thing if you've been, not dealing with her correctly. And that creature of hers...
No. I took the cautions. She came straight from the dwarves.
She came straight from my lot.
Yeah. They captured her very well. Good conditions, so yeah. They took her to the surface, which is where I was, and then I took from Volas and brought here. I'll be sure not to expose her directly to light.
Father Westpike wants to insight the guy. He's talking a lot about the drow. Does he seem desperate to get rid of her, or is he just playing her up to see if he can get a good price? That's a 21. Woo.
Father Westpike felt confident that he hoped to start a bidding war between the dwarven guild he assumed he represented as nobles, because of reasons, and the elves.
And that other thing you got, was it speaking bird parrot?
Oh yes, unfortunately I cannot sell you him.
He's completely off the table.
This is, he's like if you have 50 platinum, we talk.
You're absolutely shitting me. I mean, come on. I mean, the three of them together, I probably wouldn't even give you probably wouldn't even give you 1 platinum for the...
Man, all this... okay, it's like so natural. It sounds really good, but I have to like slightly adjust this. So you're absolutely... I mean, altogether, it wouldn't give you a silver... And then she says something else.
1 platinum. Probably wouldn't even give you 1 platinum for the lot of them. Do you know why? Wouldn't even give you a silver... probably wouldn't even give you...
Okay, I wouldn't even give you a silver. I probably wouldn't...
probably wouldn't even give you 1 platinum for the lot of them. Do you know why?
Yeah.
She's broken and not what she's supposed to be. That cycloptic thing only responds to dance. I mean, what the bloody hell is that? It's weird and bizarre, and that can go straight back down. I don't know. Let's chuck it down the crag or something.
Here's your stew, dears.
Father Westpike pushes the stew away and says, "Stew!
I'll take it if you don't want it."
Yeah, he pushes it towards that fork, knowing they...
Thanks!
Sorry, they seem to have messed up our order.
I kind of want to boost
Thanks.
Brommel a bit.
I'll take it if you.
Thing.
Here's your stew, dears.
Okay, that sounded good, volume-wise.
Yeah, Father Westpike pushes the stew away and says, "Stew."
I'll take it if you don't want it.
Yeah, he pushes it towards the fork, knowing they.
Thanks.
I want to boost him by like another 2 or 3 dB. So 2908 to 2918. 2908 to 2918. Boost NPC track by 3 to 4 dB. Just sort of whatever sounds natural. Not like a huge boost, just a little bit closer, because he sounds like he's at another table, but he's at the same table. So we're faking that. There's something else I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember. Just very happy with these voices. They sound lovely.
Sorry, they seem to have messed up our order. I'll be right back.
Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's a little loud. I can also
We're in
lower the
middle of
chain right there.
The decent conversation here. As I said, everything starts with drinking. Drinking, not eating.
29, 21, 29, 28. 29, 28. Lower the motion chain sound by like 5 to 6 dB. Somewhere in that range.
Ah, come on. So why 50 platinum? Why is he so special to you, or who you're selling him to? Why is he wanted?
I'll tell you in a few drinks.
In a flash, it was almost an hour later. The drinks had arrived. Rafaj and his men had partaken in a few glasses, slyly giving a more accurate appraisal of the elven woman, and the cycloptic bright-coated Gazelemur took only the most polite of sips, avoiding her mug as much as was dwarvenly possible, while Father Westpike, concerned about the slyly giving a more glasses, slyly giving.
While Rowena, the words Rowena are not here. Oh no.
Rafaj and his men had partaken in a few glasses, slyly giving a more accurate appraisal of the elven woman and the cycloptic bright-coated gaze.
That matches. I guess that still technically works as a sentence.
Gazelemur took only the most polite of sips, avoiding her mug as much as was dwarvenly possible, while Father Westpike, concerned about the discussion, drank in nervous moderation, afraid that action might soon be taken.
I cut out my own word. Butts. That's okay. It's okay.
So, to answer your question from earlier, the creature I have is a rare chimera. Not just a word-stealing thing, as I mentioned, but a mimicker of gestures and movement. So it's not just anything, it's something special.
Yes.
Do you know the story of the chimera? Have you heard how they are the spawn of terrible alchemical experiments?
Of course I have. I'm a bard.
Okay, good. Clearly no history lesson needed for Dwarven Bard. You probably know history lesson better than I, perhaps.
Well, certainly, yeah.
Okay, so think this. You were looking at a smith who can recreate any elven rune, any dwarven weapon. He just must see the way it is forged once. Imagine what a weapon he could be to rival a forge, or for a royal armor, or a dying art form. So many often look the ways of magic and think it's magical, but overlook the practical applications behind such wonders.
Yeah, I can see that. Why'd the Cordalam not buy it from you?
Well, you can buy him back if you have the coin.
We sold him. I understand why it's going to be worth at least 50 platinum to you.
Yes.
Hi, Iso. Are you okay? All is good. Iso says hello, friends.
Yes. You have to think, young girl.
Hey,
think.
Just because I'm young doesn't mean... Just because I look as beautiful as I am doesn't mean I'm as young as I look. Don't assume anything.
Apologies, married lady.
Thank you. And she just looks confused because I think she missed that earlier.
Your husband is certainly beautiful too, in his own way. You have good tastes. He's a nice man. I could tell from his eyes.
Father Westpike is spitting his spear back into the mug. What?
Rowena just like pats him on the back, like, it's alright then, love. You take your drink one at a time, and we both know that you can't be drinking your drink like that, love. And I'm just gonna give you back a peck on the cheek because it's just funny to her.
I feel it's not quite as valuable
Let's
for
read
the
that
woman.
again, because it's a very cute moment. I got to do it again because there's so much transcript stuff changed because the the accent threw off our transcriptionist heavily.
I mean, we both know that you can't be drinking a drink like that, love. And I'm just gonna give you back a peck on the cheek because it's just funny to her.
I'm just gonna sleep well, friend. It'll be up Thursday. Thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of your day. I'll just give him a peck on the cheek just because it's funny to her.
I feel
seriously,
it's
thank
not quite as valuable for the woman. She's
Thanks for
obviously
following.
worth more than a wagon from the value of such research, like you said, but perhaps not as much as I'd hoped.
I lean back and I try and order like even stronger booze for these guys. Frena, I want like the strongest thing you have to drink. The strong shit, see? A lot of us are celebrating, so at least bring one over for him. And I point to the dude we've been chatting with, Rafaj. And obviously my husband. I gotta get him one too. Gotta be careful about what I'm drinking, so no, get us 2 of the strongest. We're celebrating, so please.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. She nods back and winks. I really hope Sindri can't see this.
Oh, Sindri heard all of this and he's staring into his mug like Jesus fucking Christ.
The chatter and drinking continued, and a few minutes later, Freyna returned with the strong shit. Spirits so potent they could be smelled even before they reached the table.
Wait a minute.
Oh, excellent. I'll tell you what, I'll
It'll be 5 copper.
Okay, my transcript is off. So I have to move these lines to after my lines. There they go. Right here. Oops. So she says...
Oh, excellent.
Oh,
I'll tell you
excellent.
what, I'll...
Oh, excellent. I'll tell you what. Okay, so it's crosstalk. And then she's asked for the copper.
It'll be 5 copper for the drinks. They're special spirits.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just gonna give her the 5 copper.
Alright, at one point, Father Westpike takes the super strong drink that she bought him.
Say you or her.
And I'm just gonna give her the 5.
Give her the 5 copper. Updating this transcript. Ending the quotation bracket on this one. Copying, pasting, copying, pasting. Yeah, these transcripts are going to be accurate. So good. People will be very happy. They don't have to, like, get lost in these things. Hope your sleep goes well. I already said that, though, I think.
5 copper.
All right.
Also, shout out to Aethor and Hem. They're adorable, and they're getting married. And I miss my buddies. I'm excited to see them in 2 months for their wedding. It's going to be fun. And it's fun listening to their, like... This is some of their early times interacting with each other because they hadn't talked to each other prior to this adventure.
Alright, at one point, Father Westpike takes the super strong drink that she bought him, and he smiles at Rowena
Drink up,
and
love.
puts it...
I mean, I've got to get you to drink this. Come on.
Yeah.
And then she would just like whisper into his ear and make it look affectionate. It's like, we need to get him really drunk. We need to get them 3.
Yeah, yeah. He chucks it
One
back
more time
down.
for her.
I'm just like whisper into his ear and make it look affectionate. It's like, we need to get him really drunk. We need to get them 3.
Yeah, yeah. He chucks it back down, and then like a dwarvish goes like, yeah, that's right.
As a constitution saving throw is rolled.
I'm so sorry.
Haha, 20.
Father Westpike was in good spirits as he...
Okay, I'm going to add Rowena's chuckling to the transcript real quick because it's not included. Chuckling. I'm so sorry. And then Father Westpike. Jesus Christ. 20.
As he drank good spirits, retaining his wits as the warmth spread throughout his body. He had no idea what manner of drinks they were, but surely they were delicious, and would have no difficulty felling an ogre.
Rowena, honey, this is very good.
Oh my god. You fucking idiot. Has he recognized?
Okay, I love the, I love that. That wasn't even in there because it was so quiet. Oh my god, you idiot. And then let's put that muttered. Parentheses. Come on, keyboard, you can do this. Muttered. Lovely. Amused chuckle in bold. Now it's bolded.
Recognize the name. 16.
Rafaj was focused on having a good time, and in doing so he achieved peak drunk condition, which for some reason made him less chatty. His half-elven assistant, however, the one with the quill, seemed to perk up at the mention of this name with apparent interest as more drinks arrived, before Rafaj and his assistants.
Hodalum, you said?
Yep, that'd be me.
You're actually a member of the Cordalum Guild.
She points at the symbol on her chest. Yep, that's me.
Drop it, Gil. We said we're having fun. No bringing businesses into this. This is just a fun night of drinks among friends.
Sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you want to buy something, we'll always let you buy if you have the coin.
I fear that my money is better spent on booze than broken women.
And don't you forget.
She won't let me forget. Father Westpike gets whatever's left of the mug he spit in earlier, clinks it against whoever's sitting close to him, and chucks the rest of it.
Okay. The transcript's off again because the accent's very heavy. What manner of drinks they...
Honey.
Or drinks arrived. However, so he achieved... Where'd he go?
Yep,
Where'd he go?
Unless you...
And don't you forget.
Father Westpike gets whatever's left of the mug he spit in earlier, clinks it against whoever's sitting close to him, and chucks the rest of it.
The other patrons briefly stopped their conversations, impressed by Father Westpike's display of drinking prowess, before going back to their respective affairs. Clearly, they had never seen a dwarf of Westman's drink. One of them actually stood to pat Sindri on the back before returning to his corner. That was quite impressive.
Thanks. Father Westpike's gonna stay off the.
That was me! That was my cameo! I was very happy about my cameo. Actually, it wasn't intentionally a cameo. I just forgot to give the line to somebody because it was like labeled as human one instead of drunken storyteller. But that's okay. That was my cameo.
Religious Celticism, and he's more just gonna tell drinking stories and just whatever he can. He doesn't have many.
How drunk is he at this point?
I am assuming after you gave him the A-OK on the strong stuff, he kind of gave up trying not to drink and just like Rowena has she's got a plan, but you notice this, he sometimes put the mugs kind of close to you.
As the next half hour of drinking continued, Father Westpike required one more Constitution saving throw, as these drinks were among the strongest in the Bright Vale, deemed not hazardous for human consumption.
Can I, oh man, I was about to say, can I inspire him, but he's okay, he's got it.
You can inspire me if you want.
To which Freyna once again threateningly motioned to the sign that read, "No music after dark."
I have rhymes, yo.
Do you have rhymes about not getting drunk?
I can't come up with anything quick, so try not to be sick.
Okay, do you have rhymes about not getting drunk? That's... Okay, I have rhymes, yo. Father Westpike's line is not in the transcript. Do you have rhymes about not getting drunk?
Sick. Nailed it.
And he was inspired.
That's a 6, baby.
Yay!
And only moderately tipsy, thanks to his hardy dwarven constitution.
You know you guys are good. You're good guys. So, what kind of name you got for that child when it births? Sorry, I'm not good at future tense in this language. What is your name of your child, future tense?
Oh, we'll probably name them something called Darlem, you know.
Wait, she's pregnant?
Of course she's pregnant. We just talked this. I'm glad you have caught the conversation, the Brummel.
I don't know much, but you really shouldn't drink when you're pregnant.
Yeah, but it's actually safer than the water.
I'm not sure I trust you. This is kind of strong.
Strong drink for strong lady.
Such a charmer.
Yeah, that worked.
The drinking and laughter continued. But for the sake of runtime, the DM was forced to ask what Rowena's plan was as the evening grew darker.
My plan is to wait for this guy to pass out.
Okay, I realize now, content warnings here, right? So as we're listening to all the things happening at the same time and trying to like put all our notes in, let's put drinking. Alcohol consumption, ALMN, so it's the first one. Getting drunk. Cool. That's now in our...
I'm just hoping he passes out before Father Westpike. And if not, I guess I'm going solo.
After a certain point, Rafaj stopped purchasing additional drinks.
I'm making sure this dude gets the good stuff, and I'm also keeping a bit of an eye on that scribe.
As Rafaj politely refused his next round of drinks, Rowena would require a peer pressure, I mean persuasion check.
Oh, really, it's fine. I don't need any more drink. I think I drink enough.
12.
But you know what? Maybe just one more. This is my last one. I nurse this one through the light hours, and then I find the sleeps. And then we live and make an obscene amount of money.
Sounds like a good idea.
That sounds like human talk to me. You should be drinking like a dwarf.
But what about...
A good night doesn't end until at least one of us throws up.
Yes!
Persuasion. Okay, I have to move a couple things around in the transcripts again, because they're out of this. A good night doesn't end until at least one of us throws up. And then Rafage's line, very, very drunk. Here we go. Compile all the things. But what about... And I can fix the transcripts to be a little bit cleaner. Yay! All the little things we do.
That's a 17.
I'm so proud of you.
The Brummel.
Yeah, boss.
Got caravan for night.
Yeah, boss.
Ooh, the Brommel's super loud
Drink
there.
with me.
Okay. It's 3 lines, NPC 3910 to 3924. So, 3910 to 3924. Lower this track. The Brommel's volume should be the same. Should be the same as Rafage. So minus maybe 6 dB. Maybe. With a question mark.
Yeah, boss.
Oh, hey, I have an idea. You there, humans, in the next booth. Oh, come over here.
What?
Join us for drinks. We're buying if you're pleasant stories to share.
Yeah, tell us nice stories.
He's making a ruckus, right? I'm gonna put like 2 silver.
That line also felt extra soft, so we'll boost Father Westpike from here.
Yeah, boss.
3915. 3915 to 3940. Boost Father Westpike by 3 or 4 dB. He's softer than normal. And I can spell softer, correct. The S in the correct place. This accursed keyboard!
Oh, hey, in the next. You there, humans, in the next booth. Oh, come over here.
What?
Join us for drinks. We're buying if you're pleasant stories to share.
Yeah, tell us nice stories.
He's making a ruckus, right? I'm gonna put like 2 silver on the bar and tell her to make sure everyone has like the really good shit.
With the prospect of free drinks, the humans forgot their planning to join the table, and over the course of the next hour spoke of their adventures at Colt's Point, adding a tall tale here and there about an encounter with unusually intelligent bears, an executioner and her lover, a gnome-sized bard with a magical accordion, and a fair-voiced maiden rescued from an outhouse with a faulty door who turned out not to be a maiden at all. And of course, those intelligent bears are from Team A's adventure.
While they're telling tall tales, can we take the opportunity to sneak out?
Both of you?
Okay, that would be tough. Like, oh yes, hey guys, we're gonna have to go to the bathroom at the same time. A totally normal dwarven thing. We just don't like public restrooms.
No, fuck it. I've got an even better idea. If that fails, I have a backup plan, so yes.
You're gonna try and disappear.
Yes.
That required a successful stealth check.
Alright. Well, I got a 14.
Well, there's a 2 on the die.
Rowena gradually removed herself more and more from the conversation without notice. She avoided drinking, and her smile became more even, her amused laughter shifting to nods until one moment her presence was simply absent, filled by the amused laughter of the other humans.
Oh, she's gone. I think we're doing the thing.
Father Westpike did his best to slowly back away, but a large human hand firmly found his shoulder.
Hey, you're gonna miss the best part of the story.
I love how he feels
Damn
like he's
it,
popping up on us.
So...
Team A! Yeah. Man. Human hand firmly found his shoulder. Okay.
Where's this volume?
She's gone. I think we're doing the thing.
Father Westpike. I'm gonna also boost that volume from 4105 because Brommel, or the guy, drunk storyteller. 4105, 4115. Boost by 4 dB. Done there.
Westpike did his. He found his shoulder.
Charming bear.
Hey, you're gonna miss the best part of the story.
God damn it, Aethor. So, no.
Okay, I have to add that in because that's not in the script. God damn it, Aethor. And we'll continue.
Noticing that my partner in crime is not there, I'm just gonna go back for him. And I lean over and it's like, excuse me, but we need to have a little bit of quiet time when it's just the two of us, so I thought I'd sneak out a bit quiet, like, but apparently he's not quite as subtle as he used to be. And I'll grab him with I'll put my arms around him and just like pull him out, and a bit of an over-exaggerated wink to the guys.
The rooms are that way, guys.
Yeah, but sometimes you really like freedom, you know, the feeling of the air on the... So we're gonna go outside.
Father Westpike does the biggest shoulder shrug in the fucking world. She's like,
Freyna scowled, a scathing motherly scowl. Father Westpike, who was the only visible target to Freyna, took 1 psychic damage as his psyche was crushed under its weight. But he was able to escape and walk outside without anyone being the wiser, or any diminishment of the merriment around that table. And with that, their daring plan was underway. Dark Dice, Chapter 4A, Questionable Associates.
Made it.
Featuring Jeff Goldblum as the Silent One, Aethor Vithurson as Father Sindri Westpike, and Ham Cleveland as Rowena Granite Pike. Featuring the voices of Dallas Wheatley, Daniel Munoz, Lauren Clare, Andrea Somville, B. Appiday, and Florian Seidler. This episode was produced and edited with sound design by Travis Vengroff. Mixed and mastered by Marissa Ewing of Hemlock Creek Productions. This episode featured music by...
42, 53. That credit needs to go up. 42, 53. 42, 53. Boost your credit. For some reason it's quieter.
Marissa Ewing of Hemlock Creek Productions. This episode featured music by Stephen Malind, Brandon Boone, and Travis Vengroff. To support this production and get access to bonus releases, music, world lore, art, and early access to future adventures and D&D materials, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/foolandscholar. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram as @DarkDicePod. This is a Fool and Scholar production. Thank you for listening.
I was able to understand every single flipping word. I was very happy with that. So our notes are really minimal. It's just like, I think 6 notes, and it's boosting and lowering bells and reverbs and things like that. I am quite happy with this. I'm going to delete that draft. It's gone. Hitting the save button so it doesn't save with the thing there. And I am just so happy, friends. This will be out on Thursday. It'll probably be up earlier for patrons because we should have a mix maybe later today. That should be the final mix. I'll review it, get it out, get it up, and then have it out to the public on, like I said, Thursday, which you've heard already now, but it'll be better and a little bit sharper, a little bit smarter. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to get editing on, let's see, like the White Vault Echoes is next on my list, I believe. So let's do Thursday. Open up that session, and I can't share that here, unfortunately, but I hope your time and your wonderful experience and day is nonetheless lovely. It's been great having you here, and I'm going to take a quick sip, and can't think of too much else that's happening. What? No, don't erase my stuff. Don't need that. All right, it's doing its thing. Well, all of you, again, thank you. Have a lovely rest of your week. From me at Fool and Scholar Productions, and Caitlin as well, and Ezo, and we'll keep on it.